comedy today. To warm you up, Sumukhi. Come on, round of applause, please, Sumukhi.
इसको भी नमस्ते बोलो, हेलो, और बस, हाय बड़े, हाँ, nice, thank you guys, give it up for Veer, that's so sweet of him to introduce me in such kind words. I very recently started attending the gym, so there's a long way for me, so hey, what the hell, right? That's nice. Good, very nice. My name is Sumukhi, and I'm from Bangalore. I lived in Bangalore for almost 8 years. Thank you. And now I've moved very recently. In a month, I'm moving to Bombay. So, अगर ताली बज जाती है तो मुझे इससे थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है. इन्हें मेरे पेट में कुछ हो रहा है वैसे भी. And moving to Bombay is a very big step for me. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna live? But it's all figuring out. And I'm personally a big fan of beautiful people. I love beautiful people. Yeah, exactly. I love beautiful people. Because they know, I'll tell you this. How does it feel? Then? No, when you do this, can you feel it more here? How it's like? Well, look at me. I look like a love child of Mayawati and Jayalalitha. Little bit, no? आधे सोच रहे लोग सभा में देखा था इसे. वो तो पक्का है. He said, वही मैं सोच ही रहा था कि जयललिता मैडम हार्ड रॉक कैफे कैसे आ गई. नहीं सर, नहीं. मैं अपने ही पापा की बेटी हूँ. Whatever that means. It's very nice. I want to talk to a few people, and because I'm very excited about this book launch, because this is about fan fiction based on 4 wonderful characters, right? You don't get that every day. Do you get that, Shweta? Do you read books? Somewhat, yeah? Yeah. What kind of books do you like? The 50 Shades of Grey kind, or the Amar Chitra Katha types? Because then I'll speak to you accordingly. Now tell, what kind of books do you read? Depends on your mood. Okay. What is your favorite book? Like, oh my God, wow. Love stories. We all love love stories. Hey? You also like love stories. I love love stories. Especially love stories with happy endings, the best. Because kahin to likhne ko mil jata hai, kahin to. Like at least it's available in the books. Why not? Very nice. Are you with your friends? Yeah, all 3 of your friends? Very nice. What's your name? Put that phone down and tell me what's your name. Oh, live, then keep it. Don't put it down. Hi, sir. Santa Cruz West. Bas abhi. What am I eating, sir? Shut up. Sir, बदतमीजी नहीं इतनी याद होती है. It's okay. So tell, okay, friend next to you, what's your name? Asavari. Whoa. Asavari, what does that mean? Asavari is a rag from music. Are you happy with your name? I'm not happy with my name. I'll tell you why. Yeah, good. Dude, my actual name is Shangamal, by the way. Yeah, my name is Shangamal. My mom's like, it's तुम्हारी नानी का नाम Shangamal. I'm like, okay, this is fine. तो तुम्हारा नाम भी Shangamal. I'm like, okay, let's just change this. So I at least had the opportunity to change my name. There are very few people who get stuck with names, right? Because there are such nice names like Jia, Tia, Alia. Like you hear them only, you're like, wow, great future, well done. Perfect, super, आपका future great है. It's like, if you have names like Abhithi, Abhishek, Sundarambal, Abhi to Kuchalambal. What are you going to call? Abhichu? No, they are. They're legit names of people that I wish you never meet, Asabri. What do you do, Asabri? You're a student and an intern. Where do you study? What are you studying? You're studying BMM. What's BMM? Bachelor's of Business Management. Mass Media. Okay, गलती सबसे होती है. Not like this तोल मोल के बोल, guys. Okay, nice. And where do you stay here? Thane. High
School Musical 3. She's done duets with the like of Shan, Javed Ali, Arijit Singh. You know her from various Bollywood movies. She's going to sing us one song and then come back later on. Come on, start building applause. Let's do this. Woman making wonderful music, Risha Datta, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Veer. And thank you for having me on board. Trisha, Veer, Sam, everyone. And are you guys having a good time? Okay, before I begin with the set, a huge round of applause for Samukhi I think she was brilliant, wasn't she, guys? Okay, so generally I do a lot of talking before singing, but we are a little short on time, and so I'll just switch to what I do best. We are doing a classical bandish fusion, and I hope you like the rendition of our song. And this is Rag Bhimpalas. I hope you like our take on it. And he's played for Rahman, for a lot of big music directors, and he's here for me today. Thank you, Vinny, for being with me. Okay. Can we have your hands up in the air, guys? धूम मचायो शाम बेरज में धूम मचायो शाम जैसे मैं सखी जाऊं
Come on, guys. What a lovely voice. अच्छा स्पीकर लेके जा रहा है अच्छा बाबा बाद में लेके टेंशन अच्छा इज पुटिंग इट डाउन ऑलराइट ठीक है कूल थैंक यू सो मच गिव मी अ राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज आवर लवली guitarist for the evening ladies and gentlemen National Award in 2005 for Best Documentary for a wonderful film called Fiddlers on the Thatch, which raised money for children in the Gandhi Ashram in Kalimpong. This is about children who got a consignment of broken violins, and now have formed an orchestra full of street children that play Tchaikovsky and Beethoven and classical music. Because of Trisha's wonderful documentary being screened across the world, that ashram continues to survive and raise money for children every day that make music. So you can give her a round of applause for that. I would love to talk to you more about her wonderful book, ladies and gentlemen, but Trisha is going to do that already. The one thing I will tell you is this is my elder sister who, when I was 8 years old and had no pocket money, would take 5 rupees out of her 10 rupees, which was her weekly pocket money, and give it to me every single week. Because she knew I had a crush on a girl and I wanted to buy her a chocolate. So that is my sister, and I hope you enjoy her book. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Trisha Das.
Hello. Hi guys, I'm the author, and so those were 3 performers, and I don't know how to perform. So I'm going to sit down and I'm going to tell you about the book. The first thing I'd like to tell you is that it's about 4 women from the Mahabharata, Draupadi, Kunti, Gandhari and Amba. And the Mahabharata ended thousands of years ago, and now they've been sitting in heaven for thousands of years, and they're bored out of their minds. Because heaven is basically for men. There's nymphs, and there's lots of things for them to do, but there's nothing for the women in heaven. So they're bored. They want a holiday, and they want to visit the earth. So they ask Krishna, and he allows them a 30-day and 30-night vacation in Delhi. And so the story is about them coming down to Delhi and having the adventure of not 1 but 2 lifetimes, and sort of a second coming of age. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of laughs, and it's got a good message. We're going to do some reading from some passages. But in order to help me do that, I'm going to invite someone on stage, someone that you might have heard of, and someone who embodies the very essence of these women, their strength, their intelligence, their kick-assness, their unapologetic awesomeness. Award-winning actress of award-winning films, Richa Chadda, everybody.
I will split your thighs like an orange and drink your blood like it's juice. Say your last words. Say your last prayers, evil Duryodhana. He lunged forwards and swung his fists in the air wildly with an occasional ha for good measure. Draupadi rolled her eyes and clapped mechanically along with the others in the celestial chamber. For what seemed like the 10,000th time since they had got there, Bhim stood with one leg hitched over Duryodhana's imaginary dead body and bowed at the applause, a broad grin on his ageless face. She sighed. Today was going to be one of those days, a day when nothing pleased, when their afterlife in this heavenly paradise felt like a dream she had to relive endlessly, a conscious sleep from which she could never awaken. She looked over at a nymph who stood next to her with a rapt expression on her face. Don't you sometimes wish there was a cliff around here somewhere? Draupadi whispered, gesturing as though she was preparing to die. The nymph gave Draupadi a blank look. Her pert nipples, straining through a sheer toga, showed more surprise than her eyes. Then, eager to please as nymphs usually are, she smiled sensually and purred in the only way she knew. Yes, of course, you're right. You say such clever things. She giggled. Draupadi stared at the creature for a moment before sighing again. There was no point getting angry at her. After all, nymphs hadn't exactly been created for conversational purposes. She turned away and began to walk towards her celestial quarters. The clouds beneath her feet felt fluffy and slightly wet, like rabbit fur flecked with early morning dew. Draupadi had quite enjoyed the constant tickling against her soles when she had first arrived in heaven. Now, she often tried to remember what a stone floor or a muddy earth had felt like when she was alive. Alive. What an appropriate word to describe the mortal experience. She remembered a moment a long, long time ago when, as a girl, she had submerged herself underwater until she felt faint and then broken through the surface with long gulps of air. Never had she felt more grateful for the invisible sustenance of mere breath. That was mortal life, where the constancy of pain, want, and sorrow made the fleeting moments of pleasure, abundance, and joy that much more meaningful, where all one's senses were forced to engage, to adapt, to conquer, to prevail, to be useful, where the more one's body was punished by injury and age, the more one's mind was rewarded with wisdom and perspective, where the complexity of relationships was so much vaster than the physical bounds in which they existed or the purposes they served. That had been her life once, when she had been alive, a long, long time ago. Draupadi sighed yet again. This was becoming a habit, she thought, and shook her head in a vain effort to cast off her gloomy mood. As she passed by the gates of heaven, she stopped to look at the two new arrivals who were making their way inside with odd looks on their faces. Very few came in these days, mostly crumpled old men with shaven heads and flowing ochre robes who chanted a lot of gibberish and always had an irritating smile on their faces. For some strange reason, they all seemed to be called Lama. She considered the two men. Draupadi usually never spoke to new arrivals, but perhaps her mood would lighten if she talked about the mortal world with those who had only just arrived from there. She walked up to the men, who huddled together as they saw her approach. Be at ease, old men, she commanded.
I am Draupadi, queen of the Kurus, wife of the great Pandavas, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahdev, who ruled Indraprastha and Hastinapur and brought forth a golden age in the mortal world by vanquishing the evil Kauravas. She smiled grandly. The two old men stared back at Draupadi, bewildered. It was apparent from their expression that they had no idea what she was talking about. You know not of me? Draupadi's eyes widened. Do mortals not sing about the valor of my husbands in battle and of my beauty and grace? Do they still not worship us as the children of gods? The men looked at each other and then back at her. They shook their heads with trepidation and said, "Excuse us, sister. We are monks and we only worship the Buddha." Buddha? I've never met him. What is he the god of? Asked Draupadi. Sister, Buddha is not a god. He was a simple man, said a monk. A man? Draupadi was confused. Then why do you worship him? Did he have special powers, like the ability to fly or turn rocks into gold nuggets? No, we worship him because he attained inner bliss. And the other monk? He achieved true happiness. Draupadi blinked. You worship a man because he was happy. Yes, truly happy all the time, and so are we. That's why we were allowed into the heaven too. They grinned at her before performing a few jerky bows and then proceeded on their way. Draupadi was bemused to say the least as she watched them leave. Heavenly standards had certainly gone up if one needed to be truly happy all the time to get in. They were probably scared of overcrowding. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been even a little truly happy, and her mood plummeted again. So much for talking to formal mortals, she thought, and stomped towards her chambers.
Thank you, Richard. It sounds awesome in your voice. It really does. I'm going to read a passage now from the book, and I'm just going to set it up a little bit for you. So the four women have arrived in Delhi, and they've met a very nice man called Zafar, and Zafar is taking them out for lunch. So this is lunch. Well, real food is relative, supposed Draupadi. The contents of her brightly colored parchment parcels certainly didn't look like food. But judging from the crowds around her, noisily eating on tables, with gusto from the same parcels, she concluded that it had to be edible. Back when she was alive, Draupadi thought, food inspired the eater and was treated with respect. The way it looked, felt, and tasted, and the effect it had on the body were all equally important. Palace food was served on gold platters, each delicate creation topped with a dash of cardamom-scented clarified butter or slivered nuts, and was encased in its own gilded bowl. There were tender, leafy vegetables tossed in mustard, fried root vegetables in buttery, creamy curries. There was goat, deer, boar, or bird meat, marinated in spices and cooked for hours over slow fires, and then baked with fragrant rice or engulfed in unapologetically spicy gravy. The juiciest, sweetest of fruit was made into sweetmeats with velvety cow's milk, raw honey, butter, and nuts, and sour or raw fruit was made into fresh, tangy pickles that made tongues dance. Even villagers in her day enjoyed good food, Draupadi thought, as she remembered eating hearty cooked lentils and onions fried in mustard oil with chilies, along with large, thick rotis roasted over an open fire until their outsides blackened and became crusty, but the insides remained soft and raw. Every morsel, even a plain grain of rice or a humble berry, had flavor and personality. This was, she made a face as she looked down at what seemed like a flat cow dung patty in between two pieces of soft dough. She looked over at Zafar and saw him gingerly dip the side of the dough into a tiny tub of red paste and tuck into it. He seemed to be enjoying it. She bit a little tentatively and chewed. And chewed. The dough dissolved tastelessly in her mouth, while the meat, at least that's what she hoped it was, remained obstinately behind, fighting a valiant battle against being masticated. This is very good, Amba coughed politely as she chewed. What is it? Zafar avoided looking at her, obviously embarrassed by his earlier gawping. It's a burger. Have you all never had one? He asked Kunti. Kunti, struggling with her own mouthful of belligerent burger, shook her head irritably. Draupadi could sense that she was getting overwhelmed by the noise and impatient to get to the orphanage. She didn't blame her. The noise and commotion inside the eating house was like being inside a birdhouse, its relentless cacophony enveloping them like a blanket. It frazzled the nerves and saturated the senses. What was it with the noise level everywhere, she wondered. One didn't even get a break from it indoors. Gandhari hadn't touched her burger. She sat stoically staring at it before she spoke. What is it made from? Zafar smiled at her. Well, my guess is cardboard mostly, but they say it's bread and meat. In the rest of the world they use beef, but that would never sell in India, so they say it's mutton. You can never be too sure though. Are you vegetarian? Sorry, I didn't ask. I can get you something else if you like. Yes, get me something else, said Gandhari haughtily, looking at her burger as if it was going to bite her instead. Zafar looked a bit surprised at the impolite tone, but immediately got up with a cheerful, sure, be right back. They waited until he was out of earshot before starting to speak. Draupadi said to Gandhari, it was rude to refuse to eat. He has been helpful, or at least he's trying. She gave her burger a disgusted look. Just eat the next thing he brings you. Gandhari looked distressed. Believe me, I would never refuse food as somebody's guest. It goes against everything I have been taught. But, she gestured at her parcel in disgust. How can they eat this? Kunti looked up with a weary look in her eyes. I don't know. I don't recognize this world. It screams constantly. She held her head in her hands. My mind hurts and I feel like weeping. The only thing that keeps me going is that I will see my son soon. We must go. Stay strong, said Amba softly, putting an arm around Kunti's shoulders. We must remember that the mortal world is in Kalyug and chaos is bound to be the norm. Before I went into battle, I was told to meditate, focus my mind on my goal and shut out all the noise. We must all try and do that now. Kunti nodded resolutely, just as Zafar returned with a parcel containing almost exactly the same thing as before, but only the flat, dun-like thing in between the dough was a bright yellow color. He gestured at it before handing it to Gandhari and said, this one is vegetarian, aloo tikki. Gandhari nodded as if she knew what that meant, taking the parcel with a faint smile. Thank you, this is much better. Draupadi couldn't help but smile at the thought of Gandhari's imminent distress. But as pleasurable as it would be to watch her put away each bite, the sooner they ate, the sooner they could get out of there. So she picked up what was left of her burger, took a deep breath and a big bite.
Now we're going to launch the book. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Come on. Alright, sweet. Just have to... There you go.
स्टूल नीचे बैठो ना
Acha, if there's any questions, we can take some questions. Is arranged.
यहाँ से होगा फिर वो भी होगा टेंशन क्यों ले रहे हो?
Raise your hands if you have a question. If you don't have a question, don't worry. It's okay. Yes, ma'am.
You know, I've loved the Mahabharata for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid, and I've loved these women. They have been my role models in so many ways, and I just wanted to do something with them, and I wanted it to be fun, and I wanted it to be modern and relevant to all of us. We're all modern Indian women, and I wanted it to be a part of our lives so we can identify with these women, but also have fun with them. So that's where the idea came from.
I think so. How often, like a workout 5 times a weekend? No, I'm joking. I do read whenever I can. I try to read a book. I used to read a lot as a kid, so much so that when I was getting ready for school, I would brush my teeth and take really long and tear pages of the book and paste it on the mirror so I could finish it. Yeah, little bit nuts, but I used to do that.
What kind of book you like to read?
I've been reading non-fiction for a while right now, but I used to read all kinds of books earlier, but not so much the not the Mills and Bones types, or just not that. Everything else, not the ones that you buy just at the airport for the flight with some, I don't want to name authors now, just like lots of those, but traffic signal and airport bestsellers are not what I read.
But we all know who those authors are. You don't have to.
Okay, I'm not.
Any other questions, guys? Raise your hands.
सच में मैं अगर मौका मिलेगा तो मैं हिस्ट्री की स्टूडेंट हूँ, तो हड़प्पा इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन के टाइम जाना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि अभी तक वो स्क्रिप्ट डिसाइफर नहीं हुई है। तो मैं जानना चाहूँगी कि हम वहाँ से यहाँ कैसे आ गए, आप समझ रहे हैं? क्योंकि उनके पास उस वक्त कवर्ड ड्रेन्स थी, उनकी बिल्डिंग्स गुजरात के अर्थक्वेक में नहीं टूटी, हमारी सारी टूट गई और वो हज़ारों साल पुरानी है। तो मैं उस वक्त जाना चाहूँगी ये जानने के लिए कि वो स्क्रिप्ट क्या है, वो स्क्रिप्ट सीख लूँगी और फिर यहाँ के बता दूँगी। सर मैंने देखी नहीं, माफ़ कीजिएगा। हाँ सर मुझे माफ़ कर दीजिए, मैं उस वक्त मैं और एक मित्र हमारे हम ऑस्ट्रेलिया में थे तो मैं देख नहीं पाई, पर
पिक्चर देख लेंगे, इतना बोला।
हड़प्पा की बातें होंगी, हाँ जरूर होंगी इसमें। जी मैं अटेम्प्ट के बारे में कहूँगी कि मुझे ये ज़्यादा दिलचस्प लगेगा पढ़ने के लिए, ना कि मैं अपनी तरह की किसी लड़की की कहानी पढ़ूँ जो कॉल सेंटर में नौकरी करती है, जिसके मतलब एक बॉयफ्रेंड है जिसके बारे में वो कंफ्यूज है और एक अफेयर है। वो मुझे बहुत अभी क्लीशे लगने लगा है। एक्चुअली क्या हो गया है कि बहुत सारी बुक पब्लिशिंग कंपनीज को लाइसेंस मिल गया है कि रिसाइकल्ड पेपर पे छाप सकते हैं किताबें, तो पेड करते नहीं, इसलिए आई डोंट माइंड कि कोई कुछ भी लिख देता है, पर मेरे लिए ये ज़्यादा दिलचस्प रहेगा।
जैसे कि महाभारत में 4 औरतें हैं, तो आपका फेवरेट कौन सी? द्रौपदी,
एक्चुअली महाभारत की सारी ही औरतें बहुत ही बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग है अगर आप पढ़ें तो। मैंने बचपन में एक बार हिंदी में पूरी मोटी महाभारत जो स्कूल के अलावा होती थी वो पढ़ी थी। फिर मुझे पता था कि द्रौपदी के 5 पति हैं पर भीम की भी 2-3 बीवियाँ थी और इस तरह का। तो आई थिंक अब हम बहुत नाइस टाइम टू बी अलाइव। महाभारत में पिक्चर बनेगी तो किस किस ईरा पे बनेगा वो उस पर डिपेंड करता है ना। अगर
अच्छा, what woman you want to play in the Mahabharata? You tell me that.
यू कैन ऑल्सो प्ले बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल था उस वक्त। जी मुझे लगता है मेरे लिए द्रौपदी का एक किरदार बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था कि वो आप देखें कभी हम द्रौपदी के लिए कुछ बुरा बोला नहीं जाता, हालांकि वो पॉलीगैमस रिलेशनशिप में थी उस समय। तो मुझे वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है कि कैसे, और वो भी 5 भाई और सब कुछ बहुत लीगल डिवाइन और सब कुछ। तो अच्छा
There's the quote for the day. Any other questions, guys? Raise your hands if you have a question.
Everyone always blames the woman for everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. They
So
blame
women is
Anushka for
always-
Virat. Why will they not blame? What the hell?
It's always the women who have to bear the brunt of it.
And one more thing, now this is a book which is related to what is the current situation, as you said, like in today's world. Yes. So possibly this book would be made into a movie. So what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. You speak to the 2 performers, Bollywood actors over here about the movie, man.
I can't play Draupadi.
Actually, I've come here because there's a tacit understanding कि अगर मैं यहाँ पे ऑडिशन दे दूँगी स्टेज पे आप सबके सामने तो मुझे ये अच्छी सी स्क्रिप्ट मिल जाएगी। अच्छी स्क्रिप्टें बहुत मुश्किल से मिलती हैं।
Any other questions, guys?
कितना समय आपको लगा ये बुक को कंप्लीट करने में, और क्या एक्सपीरियंस रहे थे आपके जब आप उन 4 औरतों को, 5 औरतों को और 4 औरतों को एक फिक्शियस रूप में दिख रही थी, ला रही थी, और जैसे कि आपने कहा कि जैसे हम आज की गर्ल्स हैं तो क्या आपके एक्सपीरियंस था, कितना समय लगा?
मुझे 5 साल लगे. I took 5 years. The only reason was I was having 2 babies while I was writing this book. तो मैं दूध पिला रही थी, डायपर चेंज कर रही थी और फिर जाके बुक लिख रही थी. तो 5 साल लगे.
Are there any your own personal experiences in the book?
Yes, absolutely. But I won't tell you which one.
Question over there?
मैम एक क्वेश्चन
That these women are awesome, and we are looking at modern Indian women through the lens of these women, their perspective. Modern Indian women are awesome, and they don't need anything. They are free. Everybody get out of the way. They'll rock your world, man.
Anybody else?
जी मतलब जी नहीं, अगले जन्म मोहे बिटिया की कीजो। तो मुझे ऐसा कभी नहीं लगा कि काश मैं आदमी होती। मुझे कुछ आदमियों से मिलके ऐसा लगता है कि काश ही औरत होते तो शायद थोड़ी मल्टीटास्किंग कर लेते, शायद इनका इमोशनल क्वोशंट थोड़ा हाई होता, शायद थोड़े इंट्यूटिव होते, शायद थोड़े टैक्टफुल होते, शायद इतनी जल्दी गुस्से में आके गाली गलौज ना करके, कॉलर ना पकड़ के बातें खराब ना करके। अभी देखिए हम सब लोग बोलते हैं इट्स अ मैन्स वर्ल्ड, हमने क्या कर लिया मैंस वर्ल्ड का? What is the point with these wars in every country? I'm telling you, if the leadership was with women, we would be far more patient leaders. Because women are maternal, women care about the species. There is a big difference in a woman being a leader and a man being a leader, because just because the evidence is the planet and the evidence is the world that we live in.
All right, final question. Anybody but that guy.
हर चीज पे जब
How should who react?
I mean women I'm talking about them because we are always being blamed. So as a woman,
I don't think women should react. I think men should be more sensitive. If you are being blamed and we even blame rape victims saying that they were asking for it. So there's something wrong with our society, right? There's something wrong with the people who are pointing fingers and saying she was wrong. She was asking for it. No woman is ever asking for it. It's horrible. But I'm saying that the change has to come from all of us. From women, from men, from patriarchal women and from feminist men. And that's how we will move to some kind of progress.
okay, Trisha recently
मैंने किताब पहले मंगाई थी, मुझे कॉन्सेप्ट, हाँ जी बीच में मत बोलिएगा, मुझे किताब पहले दी थी और मुझे पता था उसका कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत ही अलग है, यूनिक है और काफ़ी फ़नी है। नॉर्मली हम पढ़ते हैं अगर रामायण या महाभारत इस तरह की, इन पे जो सीरियल्स भी बनते हैं वो काफ़ी सीरियस बनते हैं। आई थिंक इक्की दुक्की फिल्मों में इनका एक फ़नी रेफरेंस है, जैसे जाने भी दो यारो है इस तरह का। तो मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगा कि एक फ़ीमेल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एक कहानी कही गई है और कभी किसी ने सोचा नहीं होगा कि कुंती गांधारी और द्रौपदी बर्गर खाने के लिए वापस धरती पर आएंगी। तो काफ़ी फ़नी था, तो मुझे लगा आई शुड बी हियर फॉर दैट।
किस तरह की बुक पढ़ना पसंद करती है?
इस तरह की डेफिनेटली काफ़ी सारा नॉन फिक्शन भी पढ़ती हूँ। सलमान रश्दी, कई लोक कहानियाँ पढ़ना मुझे अच्छा लगता है, बच्चों की कहानियाँ भी पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है। तो बेसिकली पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है, बस समय होना चाहिए।
ऋचा, जिस तरह के भारत में हालात चल रहे हैं, इस समय वॉर की कंडीशन आ गई है, आपका क्या टेक है इस?
मुझे लगता है वॉर होगा नहीं और होना भी नहीं चाहिए। हम सर्टनली हम बाकी चीज़ों पे देयर इज़ मोर थिंग्स टू स्पेंड ऑन लाइक हेल्थ एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पर माहौल दुखद है बहुत। मुझे तकलीफ़ हुई सुन के कि सोते हुए सैनिकों पे हमला हुआ, वो बहुत ही एक कावर्डली एक्ट लगा मुझे, बहुत तकलीफ़ हुई सुन के। और उन फैमिलीज़ के लिए बहुत तकलीफ़ हुई जिन्होंने अपने जवान घर के आदमी इस तरह से खो दिए।
क्रिएटिविटी की अगर बात हो तो क्रिएटिविटी में आजकल ये हो रहा है कि आज सुभाष चंद्रा जी ने ज़ी के जो ओनर है उन्होंने ये कहा कि अब ज़िंदगी में जितने भी पाकिस्तानी सीरियल्स आएंगे वो बंद कर दिए जाएं। क्या आप चाहती हैं कि कलाकारों के साथ भी ऐसा हो?
नहीं, अगर आप मुझे बता दें कि हम ज़िंदगी चैनल बंद करके या पाकिस्तानी एक्टर्स को इंडिया से भगा के अगर अटैक नहीं होगा तो बंद कर दीजिए, कोई देगा गारंटी?
लेकिन अगर भारत रेवेन्यू जनरेट करा रहा है किसी कलाकारों को तो कम से कम उनको भी तो
सर
liberal
वो
रहना
भी हमें रेवेन्यू जनरेट कराते हैं, हमारा सॉल्ट और शुगर वहाँ इंपोर्ट होता है, हमारे किसानों को फ़ायदा होता है। बात ये नहीं है, मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि अगर आर्मी का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है और टेररिज्म है तो गवर्नमेंट को पॉलिटिकल लेवल पर अपना काम करने दीजिए, उनको पता है उन्हें क्या करना है। हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री इतने सशक्त हैं, सेना भी इतनी सशक्त है कि वो ये कदम उठा सकते हैं। इसमें कलाकारों को जोड़ना मुझे नहीं लगता उससे कुछ फ़ायदा होगा।
ए दिल मुश्किल और रईस इसका भी एमएनएस ने ऋचा बोला है कि हम रिलीज़ नहीं होने देंगे, तो इस पर आपका क्या कहना है, क्योंकि इसमें पाकिस्तानी कलाकार हैं।
अब
तो इस चीज़ से फिल्में कहीं ना कहीं अफेक्ट हो रही हैं, तो आपका इस पर क्या टेक हो?
अफेक्ट मुझे नहीं लगता कि होंगी अफेक्ट, जब मैं चाहूँगी कि तब तक कोई एक पीसफुल सोल्यूशन निकल जाए। जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि कलाकारों को इससे दूर रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि कलाकार कभी मारपीट और कत्लेआम की बात नहीं करते, गाने गाते हैं, पीस के गाना गाते हैं। आप कई आप गाने सुनिए, पाकिस्तानी कई कोक स्टूडियो के एक्टर्स आर्टिस्ट हैं जो गाने गाते हैं, उनमें हमारे देश की कविताएं, खड़ी बोली के भजन गाते हैं वो लोग। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कभी भी कलाकार ये सोच के गाते हैं कि हम अबीदा परवीन या इस तरह के कलाकार कभी ये सोच के नहीं गाते कि कत्लेआम हो। मुझे लगता है कि ज़रूर जिन्होंने ऐसा किया उनके साथ कड़े तौर पे पेश आना चाहिए, पर आप और मैं लड़ाई नहीं करते, उसी तरह कलाकार भी आम इंसान होते हैं, उनको लड़ाई पसंद नहीं होती।
थैंक यू सो मच।